Hello, I'm going to quickly show you how to create the Excel spreadsheet for the data you're collecting and also how to create the graph for that data. Since you're doing temperature readings at regular intervals, this spreadsheet should have two columns, one for the time interval and one for the temperature reading. So I'll create two column headers, one at cell A1, and I'll call that time, and I'll use the tab key and tab over to B1 and say temperature, and press the enter key. I'm going to resize these columns. I'm going to auto resize it by simply clicking the column, and I can resize it. And then I'd like these columns to be of equal width. So I'll select this column. I'm going to right click and say column width. And right now it's 11.86. I'm just going to make it an even 12. So I'll type in 12 and click OK. And I'll select column A, right click, column width, and type in 12, say OK. So now my columns are the same width. You don't have to do that. I just like to make things equal whenever I can. I'm then going to select both columns, and I want to center the data within the cells. So on the Home tab, I'll come across the ribbon to the alignment area, and I'm going to center. And I'm also going to center middle so that I can center the data in the cell up and vertically also. Now I'm going to bold my headers, so I'll just deselect the columns and select the time and the temperature, and I just clicked and drug across, and I'm going to bold them. And I'm actually ready to start creating data. Now, for the one that I did, I collected data every 30 seconds. So I'm going to enter the first time, which is 00, and I'm going to enter it in this format so that I have minutes and seconds. So 00:00. I'm going to press the enter key. Excel automatically decided that it wanted to use 0:00. And then I did 30-second intervals, so I'll say 0:30 and press enter. I can leave it in that format. It's perfectly fine. But I'm going to change the format of the time. So I'm going to select column A, and again on the Home tab, in the number group, I'm going to click this little arrow that expands open the number dialog. I'm going to select custom under the numbers tab, and I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to choose the hour minute second. So I'll select that and say OK, and I'll deselect that column by just clicking somewhere. So now I know that this is hours, seconds, minutes and seconds. However, for my case, this is actually going to be minutes and seconds and subseconds, so we don't really care about that. Now, I'm not going to enter all those times in. So I'm going to select the first two cells that I have time in, and I'm going to grab the little handle that's in the corner. So I grab it when it's a plus sign, and as I'm going to click and I'm going to drag, and you'll see that it will automatically increment the values by 30 as I move my mouse down. And I'm going to come down here and put in, I don't know, maybe to 23:30. So 23 minutes 30 seconds. I'm going to scroll back up. Now I'm going to select the first temperature cell, and starting the first temperature cell, I'm going to enter in the temperature readings that I received while I was recording the temperature of the water. And you'll just start by doing that. So I'm going to just, because this is an example, I'm going to say 33.3 and then press enter. 30 seconds later it might have been 34.4 and press enter. And you'll continue doing that until you have all the data that you need. Now I already have some temperature data along with the time recorded on a sheet. So let me bring that sheet up. You'll see my time column I have formatted a little bit differently, but again, it doesn't matter. And here's my temperature data that I actually recorded while doing this experiment. So now what I would like to do is I would like to graph this data. Graphing this data is very simple. I'm going to come in and I'm going to select the data. So I'm going to click in, I'm going to drag, and I'm going to drag down and let the sheet scroll until I get all the data selected. I'm going to release the mouse. Then I'm going to scroll back up. And on the menu bar, I'm going to click Insert, and across the ribbon there's an area for charts, and here is a line chart because I would like to create a line chart. So I'm going to drop this little arrow down, and I'm going to select the first one here, which is 2D line chart. Notice as soon as I hovered my mouse over it, it shows me a sample of what it's going to look like. You can move your mouse over it. It'll show you what things are going to look like. But this is the one that I want. This is the one you'll most likely want to use, and I'll just click on it. That's how easy it was to create that graph. I'm going to also make this graph a little bit bigger, so I just have to grab the sizing handles and I can drag them to whatever size I would like, and that's fine for now. You'll see that the cells have changed colors and has borders around them, and that's because it's telling me what data is selected. And I'm going to make just a few changes to this graph. For one is I would like to see some minor divisions. So if I come and click on the y-axis, I'm going to right click and I'm going to say add minor grid lines. And I click there, and you might be difficult to see, but it added some minor grid lines. I'd like the same thing on the x-axis. So I'll click on the x-axis, I'll right click, and I'll say add minor grid lines. And it does that. Makes it look more like a piece of graph paper. The other thing that's missing from here are axes labels. I want to add some axis labels. This little plus sign here, I'm going to click on it because this will add some chart elements. I'll click on that, and in the chart elements I want some axes titles. So I'll turn the checkbox on, and you'll note that in the graph I now have a text box here which is currently selected, and I have a text box here to put an axes title in. And I'm going to change this title. This is a little strange because it's vertical, but I'm going to delete what's in here, and I'm going to call this temperature because this is the temperature data, and this is temperature in, and I'd like to put the degree symbol in there. That's really simple to do. I'll come up to my ribbon, I'll click Insert, and all the way over across the ribbon to Symbols, I'll click Symbol. And if your font is not set to symbol, just drop this down, and in this list find Symbol. And in this list of characters, you can scroll down this list. And yours might be different because you may have a different font set within Word. Find the degree symbol. Here it is. I'll click that and say Insert. And then I'll close. And you'll see the degree symbol there, and I'll say a capital F because this happens to be in degrees F. This axis is time, so I'll click on that axis label, select it, and I'll put in here sample time. And I'll just click away, and there's my graph. It was very simple to create. I can see the trend line. I had a little spike here for some reason, and before it went along, and that's how easy it is to create a graph in Excel. I hope you understand it. Have a good time with it. I'm sure you're going to need it in the future. See you later.